Hi everyone! So today I will be showing you how to create this super cute Cinderella figurine. I made up this design myself and it took a couple hours, so I hope you guys like it. Before making this design, please make sure that you know how to make the triple single bracelet as well as making single chains with just your hook and hands. Let's get started. For this design you will need your loom, your hook, and rubber bands in the colors of turquoise, neon orange, white, yellow, and black. You will only need 2 black bands, and I got all my supplies from the Rainbow Loom web store. First we need to change our loom from the offset to the square set position. So to do so, basically just put your fingers behind the middle pin bar, push it outwards, and then place it back in your loom so that way all the pins are parallel. Like so. So before we get started, I would just like to say that in the comments section below, I have gotten quite a few comments saying that I go a bit too fast in my videos. So today I'm going to try something a little bit different, and I am not going to cut out any empty spaces of me grabbing my bands before I put them on the loom. So if you guys like this technique of filming better, let me know in the comments so I can change my filming style. So first we're going to start by having our loom's arrow pointing down, and we're going to start making the extension for Cinderella's skirt so that way it'll be poofy. So first I'm going to be using only my turquoise and white bands, and we're going to be using double bands for this whole part. So I'm taking 1 turquoise and 1 white, and I'm going to put it vertically, and basically we're going to be making a single chain going all the way down our loom for 7 links. So we're going to make a total of 3 more blue and white single links here. So there's 2, 3, 4. And now we're just going to do 3 more links of just turquoise, which we're going to be using double bands for this as well. And our last one. Like that. Now we are going to be putting horizontal bands going across. So I'm going to be taking double turquoise bands for this whole entire process, and I'm going to put them going horizontally across all the pegs, except skip the first one and start on the second one. And continue with all the other pins. And now we are ready to start the hooking process. So I'm going to start in this pin here, and we are only going to be hooking this vertical strip of bands here and leaving the side bands that are going horizontally alone. So I'm going to start at this bottom pin and go inside the horizontal band, grab this band, these bands right here, and put them on the pin going upwards. And basically this is just a single chain and it'll go all the way up our loom, so go ahead and hook all the single chains. So now your loom should look something like this, and we are now ready to take this off the loom. So remember, our loose end of bands is right here, so we're going to take everything else off except for the bands that are on this pin. So now you should have something like this hanging from the bottom of your loom, and we are going to make 1 more of these, except it's going to be a reflection of what this one is. So we're basically going to do the same thing on the opposite side of our loom. So once again, we're going to be using turquoise and white bands, and I'm going to start out with 1 white and 1 turquoise. And we're going to make 4 1 white and 1 turquoise links, and then continue with 3 links that are just double turquoise bands. And now we're going to be using just double turquoise bands because I have 4 links of 1 turquoise and 1 white. So I now have 7 links. 4 of them have 1 white and 1 turquoise, and 3 of them have double turquoise bands. And now we are going to put horizontal bands on our loom. So for this step, we're only going to be using double turquoise bands. So I'm going to put them horizontally, skipping the first pin again. So your loom should look something like this. So now we're going to do something a little bit different than we did last time. I'm taking a single turquoise band and I'm putting it across the 2 top pins here. Like that, and now we can do the hooking process. So first, I'm going to go inside this horizontal band, pick up these bands and put them upwards, and basically this is another single chain that we're going to do, just like what we did last time. So you should now have something like this, and we are now ready to take this whole strip of bands off of our loom, except remember our loose end of bands is right here, so don't take these ones off and take everything else off. So now you should have something like this, and you can remove this band from the pin next to it, so just kind of take that off. And we are now ready to start putting on bands for Cinderella's body. So first I'm going to start by taking double neon orange bands, going upwards. All the bands we will be putting on our loom from now on are going to be double bands. So if I don't mention that they're double bands, then you can just assume that I am using 2 rubber bands at the same time. Now I'm taking 1 turquoise and 1 white, and we're going to do the collar of Cinderella's dress. 1 turquoise, 1 white again, like that. Now we're going to be using double turquoise bands for this whole next part. So basically, Cinderella's dress is like a giant triple single. And still using double turquoise bands. And now we're going to change things up a little bit. This that we have put on so far, this is all Cinderella's upper body. So now we're going to start with her skirt. We have a weird pattern of using white and blue as well as double blue bands, so keep track of what we're doing. So first is 1 white, 1 turquoise on all 3 pins that we'll be putting bands on. Next, we're going to be doing 1 white, 1 turquoise on only the pins that are on the outside. And then double turquoise bands on this middle pin right here. Now we're going to be taking 1 white, 1 turquoise. 1 white, 1 turquoise again for the outside. And then 2 turquoise for the middle pins. We're going to take 1 turquoise, 1 white for the outsides again. And double turquoise bands for the middle. And from now on we will be doing double turquoise bands. And we will be doing 3 more sets of double turquoise bands. So keep going down your loom. And one last row of double blue bands. And we have now finished putting on all of the bands that go vertically on our loom, and so we have to put horizontal bands like we would in a triple single bracelet. So first I'm going to take turquoise bands and I'm going to double loop them across my loom. So I've skipped the first 3 pins that are at the top below the neck, which is this band right here, and then I'm double looping a band across like that. And then I'm going to double loop another band going across this way. And now we're going to use these 2 extension pieces we made earlier. So first I'm going to take my hook and stick it in this extension that is on the left side of our loom. Pick it up on my hook. Now I'm going to stick this on below where our last horizontal double looped band is, so it's this pin. And I'm just going to slide it onto this pin here. And now what we're going to do is put all these loops as our horizontal bands going down the loom, except they are only going to be on the 2 pins that are closest to this left side. So I have my double bands here first, and so I'm just going to pick them up, put them on the 2 pins like that, and then keep going down the line with the rest of my loops. So now your loom should look like this, and we're going to go ahead and put the second extension piece on the other side. So I'm just going to stick my hook in, and yes, there is the single band that we put here, so just leave it alone for now. And we're going to transfer this to this pin right here. So I'm just going to stick my finger in all the bands, including the single band that we have in here. And then transfer it to the pin that is right here. And we're going to put all these loops on the rest of the pins here. As for this single band right here, just go ahead and put it on this pin right here, like that. And so now match all the other bands up horizontally with everything else. So now your loom should look like this, and we just have a few more things that we need to do before we can start the hooking process. First, we are going to make Cinderella's arms. So first I'm going to take a single white band and wrap it around my hook 3 times. Next I'm taking double white bands and I'm going to slip them on my hook, and we're just going to make a single chain using double bands. Make a second chain link of double white bands. Next, make a chain link of double neon orange bands. Double neon orange bands again. Double turquoise bands. And double turquoise bands again. And now we can put this arm on our loom. So this arm piece we made is going to go on the very top of our loom on this pin right here. So I'm just going to transfer it on. And now we're going to make one more of these to put on the right side of Cinderella's body. So first I'm going to wrap a band around my hook 3 times. Now we're going to make 2 chain links of white double bands. Now 2 lengths of double neon orange bands. And lastly, 2 lengths of double turquoise bands. And now we can put this on our loom. So I'm just going to stick my finger in these loops and put it on the right side of Cinderella's body. Like that. So now I'm going to show you how to make the puffy shoulders on Cinderella's dress. So I'm wrapping a single white band around my hook 3 times. Now I'm taking a single white band and I'm just going to slide on this little loop, the triple looped band that we put on here, and then fold the end back over, and now we're going to put this on our loom. So now I'm just going to take this little loop that we made and slide it onto the pin that we put the arms on. So doing the left one first, and we're going to make another one for the right arm. Once again, take a single white band, wrap it around your hook 3 times, then take a single band, slide on this triple loop band on, and then put the other end on your hook. Take your loom and take off this little loop that we made and slide it onto the arm pin. And now we have to do one last thing before we start the hooking process. So now we're going to fix this band that I told you to leave alone earlier. So first I'm going to take my hook and pick up the top 2 bands that are on this pin right here, which are this white and blue one. So I'm just going to pick it up and leave it on my hook like that. So just leave it on your hook. It's okay if it kind of flops around. So this single band that is right here, we are going to double loop it across these 2 pins here like that. So now it is double looped across these 2 pins, and now I'm going to take my hook and replace these bands back onto this pin. So it's like how it was earlier. Now I'm going to take the top 2 bands on this left pin here, and I'm just going to use my hook to take them off and have them hold onto my hook like we did on the other side. And now I'm going to take this double looped band that we had earlier, and I'm going to take it and carefully pull it over all the way to the right, so that way we now have a double loop band that goes across these 3 pins. And so now I'm going to take my hook again and replace these bands back onto the pin. And now we can finally start the hooking process on our entire loom. So basically this whole thing is just like a giant triple single, except with a little bit of modifications. But this first part is a little bit different on how you start this dress. So first I'm going to start on this very left side, and instead of going inside of this band right here, we're going to hook on the outside so we can pick up these bands here. So I'm going to go on the outside and pick up these 2 bands that we'll be hooking up here. Now it's going to look kind of weird at first, but later it will kind of tuck these loops in, and you'll see what I mean later. So we're going to do the same thing to the right side. Take these bands from the outside and hook them up to this pin. And it looks like you hooked wrong, but it's okay, it's right. And so now we're going to hook the middle pin. For this middle pin, we are going to go inside of all these bands here. So make sure you go inside all of these and pick up the very bottom bands. Be careful because there are a ton of bands on this pin. Like that. And from here on down, it is basically a triple single bracelet. So you're going to work your way all the way down, and you should know how to do the triple single before starting this, like I said earlier at the very beginning of the video. And so yeah, just hook the single chains all the way to the top. Okay, so now when you get to the top, we have these two horizontal bands that are underneath this. So you're going to go inside all these bands here, pick up the horizontal band, and put it over on the middle pin here. And do the same thing on the other side. So go inside all these bands here, pick up the bottom bands, put them on the middle pin. And lastly, hook this one band here that is for the neck. Like that, and we have now finished hooking Cinderella's body, and all we have to do left is her head and hair. Before we start Cinderella's head and hair, we have to take the dress off the loom, and before you take the dress off the loom, please make sure that it looks somewhat like this, or at least should be pretty close to what my loom looks like. And also check around your loom just to make sure that you hooked all the bands and such. And now we can take this dress off of our loom. So your dress should look something like this, and now we are going to start on the head, but before we do this, I'm going to show you how to fix the bottom of her dress. So as you can see, we have two loops at the bottom here, so you're going to pull this loop that's on the side and pull it down like that, so that way your single chains have more like they're showing here. And what these do is they hold these loops over here down so they're not sticking out. And now we can start on Cinderella's head. So I'm starting at the bottom of my loom, and first I am going to take double yellow bands, go upwards, horizontally, now I'm going to add a cap band and wrap it around 3 times on this pin. And now we can start the hooking process. So be careful on the first band that you hook because the cap band likes to come off during this part. And the first one we're hooking is going to be going horizontally. And vertically. And lastly, we're going to do this vertical band here. And on this vertical band here, as you can see, we have these 2 layers, and I'm going to take the bottom layer and pull it up and over the pin. So we have a knot like this, and I'm just going to pull on the knot. And now we can take this whole thing off, like that. And now we can tuck in this little end that is sticking out here. So I'm just going to go inside the bands, kind of in through the sides, so that way we can tuck them in. Going through with my hook, grab these bands here and pull them through. Only one went through. And then I'll just do it again just because only one of my bands went through. And now they are hidden. So now I'll just set this to the side while we start Cinderella's head. So for this step, we're only going to be using like a fourth of our loom, so it doesn't really matter where you start. You can start somewhere in the middle by your base plate, which is what I will be doing. So first we're going to put we're going to be putting double turquoise bands going vertically. And I have my bands here now, just to make things a little bit easier. I'm going to be taking double bands for this whole entire part here. So if I don't mention that they're double, they are double bands. And double yellow. Double yellow on both sides. And in the center, double neon orange bands. And for the next 3, we are going to be using double neon orange bands for this whole section. And then to close off, we're going to be doing double neon orange bands on the left and right sides. And now I'm going to take a single neon orange band and wrap it around these 3 pins going horizontally twice. So a double loop band like that. And now we have to stick eyes onto this double looped band here. So first take one of your 2 black bands, wrap it around your hook 4 times. Now in my previous princess videos, we wrapped this band around 5 times, but I found that 4 is easier and it works just as fine, so you can do 4. And now I'm going to pick up this right side, and I'm going to kind of stretch this double looped band a little bit and pinch the black bands and kind of pull them up so I can pull these double looped bands through. And then I'm going to place this end back on, like so. And we're going to do the same thing to this left side, taking a black band and wrapping it around my hook 4 times, like so. And I'm going to pick up this left end off of the pin, and then carefully pull on it a little bit, and then pull these black bands up and over our hook. And it's okay if you have to move these little loops one at a time on over your hook, like so. And now you can place this end back onto the pin, like that. So now your loom should look like this, and now we are going to go ahead and take the bun that we set aside, and we're going to put it on this very top pin right here. So I'm going to take my hook and stick it inside the triple looped band that we had here earlier, and it's kind of hard to see with the yellow bands, but stick it inside the triple loop band that we looped around earlier. And now we're going to put this on to the very top pin here, like that, and one of my loops slipped out. And then twist it so that way it sits at the top of her head, like that. And now we're going to go to the top of our loom, pick up Cinderella's body with our hook, like that, and transfer this to this middle pin right here, like so. And now we can start the hooking process. So I'm going to go inside and pick up the top 2 bands, or first band, and those are going to go to the right, and then the next ones we pick up are going to the left. Now we're going to pick up the ones that go vertically and the 2 bands that are on the side. And then go inside the horizontal bands. Push your bands down so they don't slip off the pin, and then do the 2 bands that are going inwards. And lastly, this part is a little bit confusing. So what we're going to do is we're going to hook this blue band over the bun. So I'm going to go inside all of these bands here and pick up the 2 blue bands that we use as double bands. Hook them over and ignore the bun, act like it's not even there. Kind of slip it into the middle of these double blue bands. And now what we're going to do is tie off our little creation here so that way it won't fall apart. So I'm going to take the bottom set of blue bands here, and I'm going to pull them up and over like this, except I'm not going to release it. I'm going to put them around the bun like this, so they kind of surround the base of the bun. And now I'm going to pick up the bands that we're holding on to the pin and pull. And now we can take this off of our loom, so just carefully remove all the edges. Just slip them back onto your hook and slide them through like that. So that's pretty much it. And I really hope you guys like this design. I spent 2 hours designing it, and I love how it turned out. It is a little bit different than the picture of Cinderella I posted on Instagram like last month, and I have improved it a lot, and I think this design represents Cinderella a lot better. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up if it helped you out, and follow me on Instagram. My username is @tutorialsbya. I will also have it in the description box below. And if you do make this princess or any of my other princesses or designs in my other tutorials, please post it to the hashtag tutorialsbya and put @tutorialsbya as well, so that way I can go like and comment on your picture. And yeah. And next week coming up, I have tutorials for the ribcage and lifesaver bracelets. They are both my own original designs, and they're basically the same bracelet. I just used double bands on the ribcage and double looped bands, aka cat bands, on the lifesaver. And I got tons of requests for this on Instagram when I posted this exact picture. And in this picture right here, I have the reversible tire track bracelet, which is again my own original design, and I think this name suits it so perfectly. And I also got a ton of requests for this on Instagram. And in this picture right here, I have the tire track bracelet glowing in the dark, obviously, and I think this name suits it so perfectly, and it looks amazing. So that's the tutorials coming next week. And don't forget to give this video a thumbs up if it helped you out, and let me know down in the comments below if this filming technique was better for you guys since it was slower. I look forward to making so many more videos for you, so thank you so much for watching, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye!